Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the long awaited conclusion to Battle of the Atom. And this is chapter number 10, everyone. Chapter 10. And this takes place in X Men Battle of the Atom, issue number 2. Now, this series has been written by Brian Michael Bendis, and the artwork is done by Azad Ribic with Giuseppe Gamacoli. If you guys are not familiar with him, he just did the recent issue of Superior Spider-Man, and Andrew Curry and Tom Palmer, who finishes it. There's different colorists, which is Ive Scorcha, Andrew, whoever these people are anyway. I must say that visually, the book's cover looks pretty good. I like the cover. However, the artwork overall in this issue is a mess. I completely hated the artwork in here. We've seen much better artwork in this series. It just seems like the past two issues, the artwork has not been that great. I think, but this by far is the worst that I've seen the artwork in this series altogether. It seems scratchy, seems sketchy at times. Really, nothing really pops out at you for me. There's lack of detail. I think the ending of the book was the best artwork that the series had to offer for this issue. Um, but overall, it was a rough going for artwork. This was probably the best page within the book itself, besides the epilogues. So, what did I think of this story? Well, this story basically has it was let me just think for a second. It was a disappointment. Issues 1 through 7 were great. If you've watched Dark Avenger Inc. live, we talked about it, all of us, and we all came to agreement that issue number 7 uh, was the last really great issue of this series, and issue number 8 was a letdown. Issue number 9 was a letdown for certain people. For me, it picked up a little bit, and this issue here, it was just a scrambled. I don't want to say the story was a mess, but it was just a mess between all the X-Men battling each other. And it really, what I think it comes down to, it's the Brotherhood against everybody, saying how it's man against mutant kind. And we've known that for years. It's always been like that. And that's what this is what happened in this issue again. We've seen that before. And it's kind of like, but Jean Grey is behind it all. You know, she's behind everything. She's the one that started this whole attack with Shield that's releasing all these missiles that's going on here. And you see deaths that happen with the Brotherhood. So you get uh, Hank McCoy there. He gets destroyed. Beast gets destroyed in the process. You obviously get to see Colossus, who gets brain dead, I guess, in the process as well. So you get to see different aspects. Different people die. Jubilation dies. She dies in the issue. And but it's all really, when I look at it and when I read it, it's all because of Jean Grey. And in a last ditch attempt, she basically uses so much power that she wants nothing to do with it. She blows herself up and tries to blow everybody else up around it. And the thing that you get out of this as well is that you get Shield also, who's had Sentinels around this whole time, just in case the X-Men get out of control, I guess. Um, but then towards the end of the issue, we find out that we get an epilogue. You get epilogue 1, and you find out that, okay, we're in agreement. We know that the X-Men have to go back. Okay, they all got to go back. Future X-Men, past X-Men, we don't know how. We got to get everything back to normal, and they agree that there should be no more time travel ever again. That's funny, because I'm sure it's going to happen. So we get that there. And then epilogue 2, it looks like you're getting Storm's daughter. I think from what I read from it, it looks like she's staying back to stay in the school. And then also you get Jubilee's son, Shogo, which was, I thought, the best part in the whole book, because you get to see him reveal his identity to her at the end of issue number 7, and she finds out that he's your son, and you get to see a good moment between those two. And it was a touching moment. It was probably one of the best things that happened in this series between mother and son. It was great. I really like that. I genuinely do. And then you get to see, another little moment here between Iceman and future Iceman, and how he tells him to grow the beard and everything else, and the chicks dig it and whatnot. So you get that out of it. And so the future X-Men finally go back. And then in Epilogue 4, and I'm not a huge Kitty Pryde fan. Not like Kat, maybe not like Jay or some of you others out there. I'm not as invested to the other characters. So I'm going to give you my opinion on, as just reading her, on what do I think of her epilogue. And it's pretty much in agreement with what everyone is saying. But she's like, I can't do this anymore. And Beast is like, Kitty, And she's like, I've given you everything to this school, to you, to our students. No, Aurora. Everything I learned about being a woman and a mutant happened right here. She's like a little whiny baby here. And when I needed you the most, when I needed you to trust me the most, I get nothing. When the original X-Men needed you the most, nothing. Can't be here. I quit the Jean Grey school. And then Wolverine's like, you need to take a break. I get it. But you don't go saying anything you'll regret. Trust me on this one. She's like, trust you? She's like, how could I ever trust any of you again? She starts crying. And then it's just like, oh, and then it just keeps going on. And then it's like, and then she keeps talking, and she goes, oh, I'm trying to think, and she goes, Professor, and then Cyclops goes, Professor Pryde, back up your students. We'll be waiting for you back at the new Savior School. Obviously, the offer still goes out to any of you. And they're like, what? They're all shocked. And then Kitty's just like, thank you, Illyana. And she's like, of course, we're like BFFs now, And she goes and she's like, goodbye. And then it leaves you with what's going to happen in the future. How the in 2 weeks in the all new X-Men, you see her right here, and it's like, when did she become this whiny crybaby? Like, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna give up. It was so funny. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So for a lot of people, that's gonna be the last thing you get out of this event. What did you really get out of this event? Frustration, because it didn't really answer or solve anything. There was no real point to this. It was frustrating. We know that man is against mutant kind. It's always been that way. The X-Men have always fought against man. There's some that try to continue the push on. There's some that try to go against it. And it's just frustrating to see that nothing really came out of this. There was no hint whatsoever to get Nightcrawler back. And it says next week, Amazing X-Men #1 is coming out. So besides the solicit, you really don't know. I mean, you got to see Nightcrawler at the end, I think, of Wolverine and the X-Men, one of the last issues. But they didn't touch anything on that, on how he's making his comeback or how he came back or whatever the case may be for that. But the whole Kitty Pryde thing is just the last thing you're going to remember out of the series. That's the only thing that you get that's different, is that she is just going to the other team of X-Men. That's it. That's all I got. And Jean Grey from the future blows herself up. I don't know. Not very iconic, not very memorable to me. And I thought this was a really good series in the first 7 issues, and then wrapping it up just was weak. And the Kitty Pryde thing is unexpected. You never saw it. Where was there any indication of her frustration in this series, in this event that was going on? Was there any? None. So it doesn't make sense for her to turn. It's just weird for me. I don't know. So as an issue, I thought that, yes, it was action-packed. Artwork was weak. The last epilogue was weak. So as an overall issue, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And I feel that the event The first 7 issues were really good, and then the last 3 were the weakest. And so, as an overall event, I'm going to give the event a 3 out of 5. It was average at best. Because the ending crashed and it crashed hard, I thought, and that's what dragged it down. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. You can always start a really good book, but it's the ending that really matters, and it just didn't happen here. So average. If you guys want to read this, I'm going to leave it up to you. So guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And don't forget to like me on Facebook. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And don't forget to watch us on Dark Avenger Inc. Live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then until then, guys, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And I see you guys in the next comic book review. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.